出来了，这么响，我放冰箱。
好吗？好吗？
你太残忍了
We have this annoying alarm clock that's making the sound.
Oh really?
She's gonna
You
put it
can
in the
pick
fridge.
you can pick it up from here.
She's
Oh,
gonna put-
finally a use for the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
For cell
If there's
phone.
no beer in there, at least let there be an alarm clock. And then it'll, so, see what you'll forget about that, okay? And then at some point someone else will be in here,
What the
and they
hell?
will hear a ringing from inside the and they go, well,
Okay, you can move sideways, but try not to move front and backwards.
okay,
Because I'll lose
so I can
focus.
shift like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's already recording, so we're gonna
Okay.
put that in there. Okay.
Too much.
Right. 大家安静哦。Alright, what's your name?
I'm Chris.
Okay, I'm Fan. Well, whereabout are you from?
I'm from Nottingham originally, and then I moved away for university for 5 years, and I've returned.
What is wrong with your voice? It's so sexy. Keep on going. You gotta do that. It just makes me laugh.
No.
No, keep on going. Keep on doing that. That is so funny. Yeah, that is great. That is
Now you're
great.
gonna make me self-conscious of it.
Oh, yeah. Make it deep. Make it.
I'll make it deep, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shit. This is just so wrong.
Come on.
Someone earlier said I should go into broadcasting because I had a nice one. That's
Have you
very,
seen
That's my second
Have you
thing.
seen Black Books?
yeah.
You know the guy that.
I think I smoked a lot last night. I went out and
I
got
should really
extremely
start
drunk
smoking.
and smoked, and I think it's having a terrible effect.
That's gonna help.
Somewhere. Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out.
I think by 60 I'll
You
be
can't.
I'll have a Leonard Cohen kind of husky kind of thing. That should be okay.
Shit, I'm buying more cigarette. I thought about quitting, but now I'm.
Don't bother. It's it's a really
no.
good fun habit to have.
Oh my god. This is too deviated from our real course.
I'm back on.
Yeah. Shit, where are
No,
we?
we're in England.
Yeah, you're from
I'm from
Nottingham
England. I'm from
originally,
Nottingham
and you
originally.
moved
Born and
away
bred
and then
here.
came back.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm gonna man this.
We're gonna do this. We can do
Yeah.
Should I stare deeply into your eyes as well?
Oh.
Okay. Right. So you actually grew up in Nottingham?
I grew up in Nottingham, yeah.
In the city?
Just outside the city, so towards Sherwood Forest. Which,
Forest?
You know the whole Robin Hood myth. I grew up around that.
Ooh.
Yeah. I
So,
never been
you
there.
know about
Yeah.
Robin Hood?
No.
Oh.
I know Robin Hood. I know the forest, but I never.
You know the guy
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the arrows. And
But
all
I
that
never
kind of thing?
go to the forest.
Oh, you should go to the forest. They have the you can walk around the woods and there's the major oak, which is this big ancient tree, which is now has grown so big now that the branches have to be held up on stilts.
Oh.
You can't go near it because it's a bit dangerous. But when I was a child, you could go into the tree and go and stand in it, and, you know. And yeah, so I'm just outside of the city, towards the countryside more than anything.
So it's more of a countryside then?
Yeah, well, this great thing about Nottingham is that you've got it's a nice sized city. You've got everything you need, but you can go you go 10 miles out and you're in countryside. Got miles of green.
So this is the question I'll ask all of the guys who got interviewed. Did you play in the rain when you were a child?
Did I play in the rain?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Was
It's
it
the
fun?
best thing to play in, isn't it?
Was it fun? What did you do?
So,
Tell me.
I used to go out in the garden and take the football out with me or the rugby ball. And the wetter it was, the better, because your slide tackles work so much better when it's wet. And I'd go out in the back garden and chew up the lawn in my football boots, practice my free kicks, and yeah, I always played in the rain.
Was it a nice lawn you were in?
Well, eventually, no, of course not.
Otherwise
It's still not recovered. It's still not recovered. And then, of course, once I'd ruined the lawn at home, I went to my grandma's and did this. So she didn't appreciate that as much. My grandma didn't appreciate the lawn being torn up.
Did you hang out with your friends?
Yeah,
You had a little nice gang.
Had a gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd go out on the school fields behind one of the neighbours' houses, and again we just run around in the woods as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's always more fun when it's a little bit wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember doing quite a lot of exploring around my
Yeah.
town. Like usually, there's ruins and rubbles and abandoned buildings,
Yeah.
concrete structures and bunkers. Well, we did have bunkers because of the Japanese. So, what kind of did you do any of those exploring?
Yeah, we had like well, yeah, connected to the secondary school that was near our house, with these woods, and it was just like there was maybe an acre of woods, and it had a massive bank. So we'd take our bikes and we'd dare each other to go down the steepest slope, and they'd say, oh, I got one. I was put up to doing it once. Them saying that they'd already been down this massive, it was almost vertical slope. Okay, and so me being competitive, so okay, I'll do it as well. And it was ridiculous. Nearly came off and got to the bottom. Turns out they hadn't done it at all. They were just putting me up
But
to
you
it.
did it?
But I did it. So that's all right. But yeah, so yeah, I spent many years doing that as a kid.
Do you still do BMX?
No,
You know, oh, you're too
no,
big
too big for it.
for it. That's a shame.
And I used up until a while ago I skateboarded. And then-
Skateboard, yeah.
Yeah, did about that.
Should we ask about?
What?
What shall we ask about? Ask him about. We should interrogate.
Interrogate me.
Yeah.
Now I'm noticing the voice.
Yeah. You should keep it.
Okay. I can't change now. I can't suddenly go up again.
Goes well with the
So
beard.
我那个他印象最深刻的那个雨的那个场景是什么？
Oh yeah, your favorite scenery in the rain that you've ever seen.
Favorite scenery in the rain. I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
Traveling or your home.
My what I see as kind of my spiritual home, as it were, where I grew up going on holiday, is a place called Polzeth in Cornwall, and it's got these amazing walks out to the peninsula, which is this big jagged bit of rock that sticks out. Okay, and they've got a walk you do called the Dragon's Back, and it's the rock that rises out of the water and goes up and down, and you walk along this, and it's pure green, and then ahead of you is just the ocean. And I remember doing that walk as like a 3-year-old, and it's typical. This is the thing with English summer holidays. There has to be rain.
Yeah.
It's always going to happen. And doing this walk in sheeting rain, but as you get closer and closer to the ocean, with the sea kind of laid out before you, if it catches any bit of light, it just glistens very beautifully, and even in the rain, it adds to it. And so you just got this kind of completely untamed area of England where you see there's no shops, you couldn't hear a car if you tried. It's just green and then blue out over that, and nothing. That's the most beautiful scene I've seen.
That was in Cornwall.
Yeah, it's in Cornwall. Yeah,
So one of the cliff walks.
yeah, basically. Yeah.
I've been there actually.
Have you been there?
I rented a little cottage on the edge of the cliff.
Oh, what, in Polzeth?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing! Yeah.
And the waves hit the shore, and then
Exactly.
it bumps even higher than our houses, and rain downfalls.
It's
We
brilliant.
can't even open the windows because the water would come in.
No, it's wild.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
amazing.
it. It's a crazy place, isn't it?
It is really crazy. You mentioned the thing, the concept of a spirit home, spiritual home,
Yeah.
rather than your actual home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because you're always gonna have some of your earliest memories are gonna influence you and
Yeah.
become your fondest, I suppose, when you retrospectively. So I just have a very distinct memory of being there and being on holiday, and I went back there when I finished university a few years ago. I went back and lived for about 4 months with some friends in like a teepee and all this kind of thing, and was surfing during the whole summer. And I did that walk again, having not remembered it, and had this kind of very, what is it, like it was a very strange feeling of recollection.
It's like deja vu.
A bit like deja vu, yeah, like, a bit like unheimlich kind of moment, where you go, right, I've been here before, yeah. And so I think it's very hard to describe that feeling. But obviously, if you've been there before, and it's kind of, it felt, because I'd finished university, there felt like some kind of circular narrative to the whole thing. Like I was returning to somewhere that meant a lot to me as a child, and it was a really beautiful experience.
Would you say that this memory or this idea or narrative has influenced your view of life or lifestyle or your?
I have a habit of I'm a writer, so I have a habit of looking for narrative in everything and trying to look for the way that moments in your life link together in some way, thematically or emotionally. So yeah, I suppose it does. Yeah, that moment, for one, did influence me. I don't like spiritually, yeah, I think, in terms of a sense of self and forming your identity, you're never the human body develops over 7 years. You're not made of the same cells. You're a complete different person, and yet there's a part of you that retains the you-ness of you. So that continuation of your kind of life story is always very interesting to explore. And there's always narrative threads to draw from wherever, and that those threads change as to how you're looking at your life at a particular time, I think.
Okay.
So you enjoy the rain?
I love the rain.
Ah.
I suppose you have to in England, don't you? A little bit. I prefer the sun, but like, I don't know. I think I like being inside on a rainy day, or outside on a rainy day in the summer. If you got, there's some kind of.
Sometimes in sunny rain, it's regular,
Yeah.
and when after that you will see the big rainbow.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah.
4 seasons in a single day.
Of course, yeah. This can happen, right? Yeah.
We had hailstone after rain and then sunshine and then snow.
It's crazy, isn't it? I'm not sure what's going on.
No.
I'm waiting for global warming to have a really positive effect in England.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we could really benefit from it.
This could be the one country where it's really good.
Yeah, exactly. Japan could be sunken, but we benefit from all this cliffs.
It just all comes down in England.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we benefit from such a high altitude.
Yeah.
It will be great. We'll have beaches.
That'd be just
It'll be great.
America, there'll be Arizona Bay.
Yeah. Goodbye or so. Yeah.
So do you have some film you like, have the rain scenes you like?
Rain scenes in film.
Yeah.
Wish I prepared this.
Oh.
I'm not going to say that one. Rain scenes in film. Is there a rain? Have you seen My Own Private Idaho?
My Own Private.
Idaho, River Phoenix.
I can't recall.
He's basically a street urchin. It's a kind of, I think it's a retelling of Richard V? Richard IV? One of the Shakespeares. It's a retelling of one of Shakespeare's plays. And it's got River Phoenix in it, and he plays basically a street urchin who's on the search for his mother. And I seem to recall when he eventually goes out into the desert, and then maybe I'm imagining this, and there's no rain at all in that whole film. But that was the first thing that came into my head. What other rings? Yeah, it must be some really strong. What other people said? You know when you ask such a direct question, and every film you've ever seen goes completely out of your head.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
summary scenes is very romantic, like girl like the Notebook.
The Notebook, right? Yeah.
So many
That would
girls
be one to
to
mention.
mention that. And my
That has to be my favourite. Yeah,
Ah.
that'll do. No,
Yeah. It's like
it still ain't over.
and yeah, it reminds me of another film, the P.S. I Love You, because the ring and she got a new boyfriend.
All right.
Yeah.
There's Saving Private Ryan, of course, is pretty heavy, isn't it? When he's as he's dying, right at the end, he's chucking it down with rain, and there's Sodom, and even the opening scene where they're coming onto the beach, and it's just grotesque. Everything's it's just
I watched it
filthy,
over
isn't
and
it?
over again.
And all that the moving camera stuff.
Yeah. Dolly shots.
That's the
Yeah,
best. The
Dolly
best. I
shots.
think that's one of the best films that's been done in, really. Isn't it?
Yeah. It's so much death in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
People are falling like flies.
What's the body count in that? That
Yeah,
must be
oh, it's
ridiculous.
just
Has
ridiculous.
anyone ever took a
Like,
because
oh,
it's
he's
ping,
dead.
ping,
Ooh,
ping,
ooh,
isn't it?
ooh. Everyone's dead.
Constantly, man.
Yeah,
It's
that was
horrific.
such a good film.
Yeah.
I think that's about all I'm gonna. Oh, I should ask about what you're writing.
What's my writing?
Yeah, what are you working
Oh
on?
goodness.
Yeah,
I'm
make this official. We'll put it on internet.
make this a fit. Oh really? This is dangerous. No,
Everything
you see,
is set up. It's free.
So this is true.
Yeah,
well,
just do it.
no, someone once said well, this is an old joke about someone saying I'm writing a novel, and the other person says me neither, because if the more you talk about the fact that you're writing something, the less you're doing it. Okay, but I'm writing a novel. I'm about 17,000 words in at the moment, and it's going to probably end up about being, I don't know, 200,000 words. So I'm still in the early stages of it. But it's a look at kind of faith and inherited guilt, and the way in which we receive wisdom from our parents, which we then don't find to be true wisdom. You know, they pass on what they believe, and we may well just go against it. And it's about the battle between parent and child,
Between logic
and God and man. Kind of thing.
I like that. That is interesting. Where did you get your inspiration from?
It's semi-autobiographical, but
So it's about itself.
yeah, not really. Not it's an extension of self. But I had a very interesting kind of journey with Christianity. I was brought up quite like evangelical Christian.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's no. We have to get out of here.
Yeah. Right.
Can't be in here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And it took me a good few years to like be cured of that. Once I started thinking, once you start thinking for yourself, and
It's almost like
you know.
heart started beating.
yeah, it's very you as a child obviously you take on what your parents say to a very high degree and you trust them, and if you then find things out for yourself and go on a separate journey, which most people inevitably do, then you find there's always going to be a certain resentment for being told what.
It's more of a habit. It's very hard to change what's the way you live, isn't it?
Yeah, and the way you
the way
think.
judge.
Yeah, I suppose. But I think I'm like I said before. You're a completely different person. Several years down the line, I feel I'm a totally different person to the child I was at 17, 18. And it probably took about 5 years to get through kind of the resentment. Fine, like I'm an atheist now, so and whether that's right or wrong, for me, having done quite a lot of reading around the subject, and not simply taking my parents' word for it or the school's word for it or the church's word for it. No, I went to 2 Catholic schools as well, so it's heavily ingrained. So when you then go against that, it takes a while to get that out of your system. So the novel is exploring that, and the way in which guilt can be inherited from your parents.